Today for you, I have good Tesla stock news and then more good Tesla stock news and then more good Tesla stock news. Let's go through everything. There's actually a lot. Elon Musk just confirmed some big Tesla news, and not only is the new FSD version is rolling out to employees, it is now rolling out to regular people. V12.4.2, this could be one of these turning moments. And if not this version, then likely the next one. And Elon says, this release does have far fewer interventions but suffered in driving smoothness, which is what caused this long delay. And they figured out what the issue was. It was too much training on interventions and not enough on normal driving. It's like a doctor training too much on patients in the emergency room versus training on preventative care. Sounds like most doctors out there. Our next generation AI model after this has a lot of promise. 5x increase in parameter count, which is very difficult to achieve without upgrading the vehicle inference computer. So both, of course, are excited about this new release, and we'll see if this is really better. But many investors are saying that they have a good feeling about this, including Dave Lee. I'm gonna go check my car right now. If I have FSD, this video is gonna be short. I just checked. I don't have it yet, but Chuck Cook has it, so that's good. But he won't be with his car for several weeks, so we won't see videos from him, I guess. Too bad. By the way, this is a new channel which will later have political videos, so make sure to subscribe if you are interested in that. For now, I will post some Tesla videos here just to get some momentum. If you are not interested in politics, don't worry. Later, all the Tesla videos will be on a separate channel with no politics. In the meantime, we now have some new reviews of this latest FSD build. These are Omar's impressions from this morning. Much less slow and annoying than the previous version. Still a few strange moments here and there, but looks ready to go out. And after this one, I'm really looking forward to the next one because it has a 5x increase in parameter count. No doubt that is going to be better once it gets smoothened out. So just 18 hours ago, this build went out to employees and now is going out to regular customers. Probably there's going to be a wide release then very soon. It was very fast to go from internal testing to some public customers. Elon responded to this post. Number one, training AI is not so straightforward. There's some trial and error. Tesla is still figuring it out. And AI doesn't learn in a linear way. There can be exponential jumps in its capabilities. We could all be surprised at the rapid progress of FSD. Can you explain what a 5x increase in parameters means? A parameter is like a setting that the AI adjusts to learn from data and make decisions. Each parameter holds a bit of information that the AI uses to understand patterns and generate output. The more parameters an AI model has, the more detailed and nuanced its understanding. To which then finally Elon replies with, yeah, so long as the information compression efficiency is held reasonably constant, a higher parameter count is a representation of how well it understands the nuances of reality. So a 5x increase, that should be pretty good. But at the same time, a high parameter count is not necessarily the end-all, be-all of deep neural networks. Some Tesla investors are mind-blown by this 5x increase in parameter count for the next model. I don't know, however, how big the previous models are, so it's hard to really compare how much of a difference it should make, but I assume this is a big difference. When Tesla's FSD team usually does something amazing, Elon is quick to point it out. And keep in mind that currently, all of the FSD development and effort goes just into making hardware 3 better and not hardware 4. I'm really oversimplifying here, but hardware 4 sort of just gets better as a side effect. And yet we are still making a lot of progress, but if we stall with progress, there is a lot of room for improvement to be unlocked just training on hardware 4 data. So Farzad did a poll. Tesla's hardware 3 cars will be able to operate without a driver in Tesla's robotaxi network. 53% of the people voted yes. If I was an investor focused more on the short to medium term, I would be really worried about it, but I'm a long-term investor, meaning I just care about which company is going to be the first company to really scale robotaxis and solve FSD that can be deployed pretty much anywhere in the world, or at least anywhere in in North America. And that company, I deeply believe, is Tesla. So it doesn't really matter, is it going to be hardware 3 or hardware 4, as long as Tesla is the first one to really scale. However, keep in mind that I became a Tesla stock investor in early 2019, and I was prepared to hold that stock for 10 years and not really see any returns in the worst case. And looking at this stock chart, that's not at all what happened. I did expect a big jump, I just didn't expect it to happen so quickly. So there's this patent from Tesla, which people are talking about right now. They explain an automated sanitizing system, potentially for a robotaxi, and powered by utilizing UV light and steam. I think I might actually want that just for my sort of weekly use of the car, just get it all cleaned up and fresh from time to time. A 4-seat variant is also displayed over there. Because this is a 2-seater, almost definitely this is a robotaxi. But quite clearly, Tesla revealed itself here that it will work on a 4-seater robotaxi as well, which is obvious. But I think the chances are higher that Tesla will start with a 2-seater first. And I think Tesla's robotaxi will have many similarities to this robotaxi from Rimac right here. However, this one has such a slow door. It will be a pain for customers to wait for the door to open. Imagine it's raining and you're just waiting for 15 seconds in the pouring rain. So while that company is building centers dedicated to just cleaning these robotaxis, Tesla is going to do a lot of the cleaning from inside the car. Here's another review of 12.4.2. Crazy lane changes seem to be fixed, which was really the big major problem with this old build. And even in 12.3.6, I sometimes experienced these, but nowhere near as much as what people are reporting with 12.4.1. He only had one intervention. You can see in the picture below, FSD tries to stop for this blinking yellow. Overall, blinking yellows are improved. 3 of 4 were handled well, but not fully fixed. In 12.3.6, it's definitely a problem for me as well. And this was a 45-minute drive, and smoothness was literally perfect. That's amazing. Speed control is good, though it will speed a bit on low speed areas, which is I think what most people prefer. He explains more. Was it the problem with changing lanes too much or way too much hesitancy during the act of a lane change? Both were really an issue earlier. Both were good so far with this new version, but he meant changing back and forth constantly. I personally experienced this problem with 12.3.6, getting too much drifting to the edges of the lane. It doesn't happen often, it's very rare, and it's only in very specific areas, but it seems good with this version. And what exactly did he mean with yellow blinking lights? Stopping completely or just slowing down? It was going at 14 miles an hour in a 40 zone, so slowing down, not stopping fully, just being extra cautious. So in this instance, it could have already been a robotaxi, just an annoying robotaxi. And he agrees now that this is ready for a wide release, which is great news. Oh, and he's not driving on assertive, he's driving on the average mode. And he emphasizes that it was extremely smooth. Sometimes Omar can be a bit overly excited, but the Dirty Tesla account, I find him to be relatively more measured. For Omar, the main issue with the previous build was that it was just too slow, going, for example, at 20 in a 25 zone. On the flip side, 12.3.6, for me personally at least, it usually does the opposite. It goes just a bit faster. It just matches everyone else's speed quite well for me personally, with an exception maybe once every 2 weeks. People are saying Rivian needs to license Tesla full self driving from Tesla in order to succeed are crazy. No, I definitely agree with Omar here. There will be no market for cars that can't drive themselves. Just as there is no longer a market for computers and cell phones that cannot connect to the internet. I know it is hard to wrap your head around, but people need to absorb this. Things are changing rapidly. So when Tesla perfects FSD, nobody will want a vehicle that cannot drive autonomously. And already today, as an ADAS system, many people have said they will never buy another car without it. Today, if I had to drive for more than 30 minutes daily, there's no way I will ever buy anything other than a Tesla for myself. Even the current version I have right now is just that much of an improvement in my life if I have to drive often. And in June, I had to drive quite a bit, and I am so glad I had FSD. In the meantime, all these other companies, they just released robot taxis that have LiDAR. And I heard a rumor that Waymo cars supposedly are $300,000. This was said by a guest on CNBC, so I'm not sure if that's really right, but $300,000? Tesla will be able to make a robotaxi for probably about $20,000 and even less if they really want to get the price down. Check this out. Tesla China just extended the zero interest promotion to July after June sales hit a new record. July is the first month of the next quarter, so I am pretty confident that there's a very good chance it will get extended again until the end of the next quarter. You can also choose between the interest rate promotion or a zero down payment option, and it worked for Tesla in June, so good, keep going. And looking at some European data, look at these deliveries in Sweden for Tesla, you know, in a country that is supposedly still protesting against Tesla, and yet Tesla is doing really well. We are also getting delivery numbers from other countries in Europe. Here's France, here's Norway doing a little bit better than the previous quarter. Here's Netherlands doing fairly okay. Sweden, Spain. Tesla Korea registered the highest number of vehicles ever in the country in the second quarter of 2024. Okay, so only the first 6 months are over, and look at the number of vehicles, 12,000. The previous year, the whole year was only 16,500. So that's good. In the meantime, German 0% financing is back for Q3. James predicts we can expect the same in the US at some point. Last quarter, it came in the second month of the quarter. And in Germany, they are not playing around. They're not saying, oh, this will just last until end of July and then Tesla, extending the promotion. No, they're just saying this is going to last until the end of the next quarter. Oh, and Tesla actually officially confirmed that in June, they did hit a new high in sales on their Weibo account, which is like a Twitter in China. It specifically sales in China and specifically in June, not sales worldwide. And here's some really good news. Through 3 weeks ending in June, China was at 41,200 registrations for June to get to 60,000 for June, which would be a new record. Tesla China needed to do 18,800 the fourth and final week of June, which would be a record high for 1 week. And that is perhaps why the stock is up so much today. Hangzhou is back in China and no one is playing around anymore. Things are getting serious over there. Tomorrow, we will get delivery numbers from Tesla, and it won't be just car deliveries that we will find out about tomorrow. We will also know how much energy storage they deployed. The last quarter already, Tesla deployed a record 4,053 megawatt hours. And Elon, during the shareholder meeting, really hyped up Tesla's energy business, so we could see a good number tomorrow. But if we don't, I'd expect a higher number in Q3 and Q4. The energy business is a bit lumpy. Sometimes you have big orders and big deliveries all in just like 1 week or so. Some bulls are really getting bullish about tomorrow. Peggy says, I expect better than expected delivery numbers, which will help increase EPS for Q2, signaling and confirming that Q1 was indeed the bottom on operating margins. If that's true, that would be pretty bullish. However, in the short term, I try to keep my expectations relatively low so that my judgment does not get clouded by some accidental, not such great performance in the short term. The real focus is on the long term and not the short term. But if we do great in the short term, that's awesome too, of course. In the meantime, Troy, who has a really good track record of predicting deliveries, some people occasionally beat him one time, but consistently, no, he's better than Wall Street. And his estimate for tomorrow is 423,000. Analyst consensus currently is 441,000. However, I think Troy posted that estimate before Tesla officially confirmed that in June they had their very best week in China. So this estimate likely should be increased by Troy, but I think he won't do it because he already said it's his final estimate. Too bad he did it a bit early. Very likely he is basically admitting he was wrong because his calculation assumed 14,000 for the last week. But if it's a record, that number should be higher. So it does seem that there is a very good chance that the actual deliveries will come above this 423,000 number. No guarantees, of course, but it seems possible. Anyway, there are quite a few investors with deep pockets that take very seriously what Troy says, and he is already increasing his estimate from before. So however you view this is good news. We know that James is really good at estimating Tesla's earnings per share, and he's pretty good at delivery estimates as well. Occasionally he does better than Troy, but usually Troy does do a little bit better with deliveries. However, James is thinking that 423,000 that Troy is predicting is a bit low. He's more at 430,000, but we will see on Tuesday. And he too agrees with me basically that the reason why Tesla stock is up is because everyone is now expecting more deliveries. So Troy already increased his estimate from 416,000 to 423,000. Wall Street consensus remains at 440, but Gary estimates that the whisper number that Tesla needs to beat is 420,000 deliveries, which implies that maybe if we come in, let's say at 422,000, the stock shouldn't really go down, even though that would be significantly below Wall Street's expectations. But after today, that whisper number is likely to be a little bit higher. Oh, we finally have an update here. Tesla suggests only the Cybertruck Foundation series will be delivered through late 2024. Seems like demand is a bit higher than expected for the Foundation series then. But Elon noted earlier that the production of non-Foundation series Cybertruck should start sometime in the third quarter, so maybe production starts but deliveries don't? But that would be a bit weird. This news is based on a message directly from Tesla. As an early reservation holder, you have been invited to order your Foundation series Cybertruck with early access to delivery. Due to continued demand, high demand, we expect to deliver only the Foundation series through late 2024. And many people seem to be getting that same message actually, so it's not just one person, which is of course more good news today. Yeah, I can certainly see why the stock is up so much today. Here you can see the old wording and the new wording that Tesla added. Oh, Tesla resumes hiring in Mexico. Does that mean that Tesla is going to start making progress on Giga Mexico again? Reading this article though, it doesn't seem that there's much to do with the Gigafactory, although there are some people being hired in Nuevo Leon, which is where the factory is supposed to eventually be built. Cybertruck has a new interior color. It's called Tactical Gray. How do you like this one? And Tesla is contacting customers to change their gray interiors to white to get deliveries of Cybertruck faster. People seem to like the new gray. And this is pretty impressive. My Cybertruck energy usage has significantly improved over the last few releases. My 3,000 mile average is 425 watts per mile, but the drives over the last few weeks have been in the 360 to 380 watts per mile range. And these improved drives have lowered my lifetime average from 430 in just 2 weeks. So it's adding up. And if you think that's all of the good news for today, I have bad news for you because there's more good news. Tesla has secured a new 163 million megapack contract for a new battery in New Zealand. So this is a pretty good size project. Elon said that basically the only constraint on the megapack business is production. It's not demand. And we are seeing these pretty big orders to back up what Elon is saying. In the meantime, should Tesla license FSD to ICE cars? I definitely think so. Tesla will make a lot of money doing that because if Tesla doesn't do it, these other companies will eventually be forced to develop their own technology, but if Tesla just gives it to them, they don't need to. So just from that perspective, it's in Tesla's best interest actually to do it. And on top of that, of course, a lot of lives will be saved. Crappy EV experiences hurt the EV transition. That is why we must recommend great products and why the idea that you can't criticize a car if it's an EV is harmful. And at this time, Omar only recommends Teslas. I know some happy Rivian owners, though, as long as they don't need to charge on a road trip. But everything else, generally, I would be careful with other models. Some Tesla people are talking about politics. Note that this is a different channel, and this channel later will have videos that will be political. So subscribe to this channel if you want to see more political stuff. For now, I will post a few more Tesla videos on this channel just to get the channel up and running. And then later, all the Tesla videos will be put just on a Tesla channel. Razad replied to this comment, "Get back to Tesla talk, please." Every time I read a comment like that from someone, it's an immediate mute. God forbid we talk about the future of our country. People in the US need to stop being allergic to talking about politics. It's literally the reason why we are in this poop show. Now, I am Canadian, but my plan in the long term is to eventually become American. So I'm actually much more interested in American politics than Canadian politics, because Canadian politics, not just local politics, but the US affects the whole world. In the meantime, you know BYD, and they sort of enter the German market. But what happens if you live in Germany? See the BYD ad during the European Football Championship match and type byd.de, which is what you type in Germany, into your browser. You got BYD. Buy your... I'm not going to read this word because YouTube might age restrict my video. Wow, Elon replied to this as well, laughing. Here's some more good news. Tesla Chan heard from a source that the Shanghai mega factory in China is currently being built fast, just like we expected. Currently though, you cannot take photos, so that's why it's hard to get updates. More good news, the Greenfield, California Police Department has announced that several Tesla Model Ys will soon join their fleet, so we will see more and more of these, especially with the Cybertruck coming out. Yeah, the police departments will buy these, I believe. Oh, and actually they are getting a Cybertruck, so not just Model Ys. This would be good for Tesla if this is true. Dan Ives believes that tech stocks will be up 15% the rest of 2024 in his view, with tech fundamentals set to accelerate as AI use cases expand. AI party, he says, is starting, and right now it's 9 p.m. and this will go until 4 a.m. Very bullish for Tesla if true. NIO reported 21,000 deliveries for June, implying a 98% increase year on year. The Chinese market seems to be waking up. Why does Cybertruck's success bother Rivian fans so much? It's because Rivian sales started declining as soon as it went on sale. Yes, Rivian has a good product, but the 800-pound gorilla, the Cybertruck, has officially entered the chat. And the demand for Cybertruck is actually improving, not deteriorating right now. BYD reported pretty strong sales for June, implying a 33% year-on-year growth rate. BYD's pure BEVs came in at 426,000, so it would be really nice for Tesla to deliver at least a few more vehicles than that, beating BYD. Combining BYD's hybrids and BEVs, they almost sold 1 million vehicles in Q2. Very impressive, but their BEV business has not come back yet to Q3 or Q4 highs from last year, but they did beat the previous year's Q2. Ford CEO Jim Farley is making sense. If we cannot make money on EVs, we have competitors who have the largest market in the world, who already dominate globally. If we don't make profitable EVs in the next 5 years, what is the future? We will just shrink into North America, and that's definitely right. He knows what's going on. They should really try to make their EVs better. In the meantime, Polestar 4 has no rear window. Zeekr reported 20,000 vehicle sales in June, implying a growth rate of 89% year over year. So the EV adoption continues in China, and that's great for Tesla. And we now have the final delivery estimate. This is Tesla's IR compiled consensus. It is at 437,800 deliveries. That's it for today's video. Make sure to subscribe and like the video if you want to be subscribed to this channel, which later will be political. After I get the momentum started on this channel, I will put the videos back on the Tesla channel. In the meantime, I posted a new Patreon video. I didn't put it in this video today because I just don't know how much merit there is to this rumor, but if it is true, that's even more good news for Tesla. By joining Patreon, you will have access to all of my exclusive videos on Patreon, as well as how much I am willing to pay for each Tesla share between 2024 and 2033. If you join the investor tier, you will also have access to my valuation model, where you will see all of my assumptions, including deliveries, the energy business, Tesla's future businesses like FSD, and of course much more. And then if you want to easily download that and put in your own numbers, then this third tier is for you. To all of my Patreon supporters, thank you so much. Make sure to like the video and subscribe if you haven't yet as well. It's really important to like the videos because that makes it less likely that the channel will be shadow banned later, like my other big channel got shadow banned before from about 50% of my regular viewers. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.